What's going on, you guys? Lester here, full-time Amazon seller. In this video podcast is a very special one because I have David. You can find him on Instagram at FBAFerg. And in this video, we talked about what it's like to be a wholesaler selling on Amazon. And we dive deep into his business regarding wholesale, what it's like to have a warehouse, how to reach out to distributors and brands, what are minimum quantities. So as a beginner, or if you're wanting to learn about wholesale, this is a great episode because he kind of breaks it down. We even talk about what is 2D workflow and how it helps his business. So hope you guys have a lot to take away in this video. If you have any questions or suggestions, drop them down below so that way we have some content for the next video. Any questions, let me know as usual, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, we are live.
Awesome.
What's up, David?
What's going on, Lester? How's everything?
Good. Can't complain.
Good,
Life is good. Sun is out.
Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you for taking the time to kind of talk to us about Amazon, especially in the wholesale business, because that's kind of what you are, your experiences and background and stuff like that. How'd you do last year overall in the business? Were you happy?
So towards the end of the year, I really started to take Amazon more serious, more of a full-time business. Like in the beginning of the year, I was pumping out maybe 30K months up until like June, 40K months until June, just kind of learning the business and learning how, the process works of actually getting inventory, getting it to Amazon, selling through. And I might have learned a little slower than a lot of people. I see some people pumping 100K months in their first like 2-3 months. And
I know, dude.
It's crazy to me.
When did you start like officially, selling on Amazon?
It was August of 2021. So basically from August until June, I was just doing like 30K months with 30 to 40K months with like 3K profit, 4K profit, running on like a 10% margin. And, I definitely wanted to start making more money, wanted something more. And I realized one day that how much you make correlates with how much you're spending. Like it's hand in hand. If you don't spend half of the sales number that you want, you're not going to get that sales number. So I realized like if I want 100K months, I got to start spending 50K a month. And a little background for what I was doing before. I was into crypto all of 2021. I rode the bull market. Like
nice.
I was trading a little bit of margin and stuff, and money was easy. Not so much now, especially if you're a trader. But that's how I got my capital to kind of like fund my Amazon business. And I was smart enough to take money off the table and like set it aside for a business. I didn't know what it was going to be.
Yeah.
But Amazon was always on the back of my mind because I seen people doing big numbers, and I knew it was like it could be a beginner style business. Like I was always into reselling on eBay and stuff with like Jordans, Nike back in the day. So I have that reselling background, but never at the level that I'm doing it right now.
Did you see someone like doing an advertisement about it? You bought their course, or you kind of just like, deep dive into it and kind of figure out yourself in the beginning?
So like I said, my original coming from crypto and trading and stuff, there was a guy, a lot of you might know him, Trader Soros, like arbitrage ops.
Yeah.
So I joined that Discord, and like that kind of put me on to the whole retail arbitrage method, as well as like some online arbitrage. And then from there, I found Flips for Miles and started watching some of his content. That helped with how I got started, which was online arbitrage. Okay, so
that was your original story. So you didn't get into wholesale till a bit later into your Amazon business?
Yeah, actually not until like four months ago, like August.
Okay, so it was right after ASD when we first met.
Yeah, I had a little wholesale going, just from like some local suppliers, but nothing serious. I was only spending like 5 to 10K a month off one supplier that I had from like, I knew from high school, pretty much.
Got it. Okay. So how does that work if someone wants to get into wholesale or they're interested in it? Like how does, like a minimum order requirement in terms of wholesale? Because when you hear about wholesale, right, it's like when I first started on Amazon, you would think you need to spend like 10K, 20K, and stuff like that. So what is that exactly, as a beginner to kind of think about minimum order quantity?
So if I was starting over, I don't think I would have changed much, because you want to be very careful about products that you're purchasing with. When you're doing OA, you can kind of cast a wide net. You can get 10 of each product, 5 of each product. And the way that websites kind of limit you to how much you can purchase makes it kind of easy for you to limit yourself on what you're buying.
It's like a blessing in disguise.
It's a blessing in disguise, man, for real, because they'll cancel your order if you're buying more than 10, or you just have to place multiple orders. And that's what I would do when I was doing OA. I'd place multiple orders and stuff, but it kind of gets tedious, and that's what made me go into OA. Wholesale. I was trying to spend more money, and people kill it with OA. I don't know how. Like with the order,
like Trader Soros. Trader Soros does OA. Yeah, does millions
with OA. He's got a niche for sure.
So in terms of the minimum order quantity,
yeah. Back to your question. So I would say like most of my pallets that I'm getting, like they're in between the 5 and like 7K per pallet. So I would say if you're gonna do wholesale, at least try to get a pallet. 5K is a good wholesale order, and there's some vendors where you can get, you don't have to go deep on one SKU. You can get a bunch of different SKUs from that vendor. Mostly from distributors, you're going to find stuff like that. If you're going brand direct, you're going to end up with, deep on 1 or 2, 3 SKUs, which can be not very good for a beginner, because you might get stuck with some product a little bit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. It's just, I guess it depends who you are contacting, whether that's a distributor or a brand direct themselves.
Yeah, so minimum order quantity, and that's another thing. Like, you don't want to call them and say, what's your minimum order quantity, because they want you to spend as much money as possible with them to get the best discounts. Like, one order that I just put in recently was for it was like 10K. But like this is my 3rd order with this supplier. Some of the products are reorders. Some of them I just recently found in their catalog and added to the order. But I went pretty deep on one brand. It was like 6K or 7K on one brand. So they usually give me 15% off. That's like my discount with this supplier is 15% off. But I asked them, because I'm going deep on this brand specifically, can they do any better on that brand? And that was the one that was like 6 or 7K. And they gave me an extra 10% off. So it ended up being 25% off for that brand only.
I see. So you originally had the 15 like off the bat, then they were able to give you additional to get you to the percent off total.
Yeah, so it's always good. Like, you'll get a sales rep when you get an account with some of these distributors. They'll sign you a sales rep. Yeah. And you'll be able to, like, if it's a good sales rep and a communicative one, you'll be able to call him or her and just ask, communicate and build that relationship.
How important is the relationship? How important is the relationship? Because people always talk about it, right? Build relationship. But in terms of like actually doing that, like, hey, like your goal is obviously build a relationship. So do you approach it as like have a strategy, or do you kind of just like feel it out, see how it goes, and take it from there? Because you don't want to be a robot at the same time and have the same approach, right?
Definitely, exactly. I mean, I guess that's the main thing is like they appreciate your business, so they appreciate that you're spending money with them already as it is. Yeah. You have a voice, use it. Like, talk to them, see what you can. Something good can come of it. Nothing bad can come of just talking to your distributor.
Just being genuine, just start being conversations. Genuine,
asking for a discount. There's nothing wrong with asking for a discount, especially if this is your second, third PO with them. Maybe don't ask them on your first PO because you want to get that show them your intention, which is to buy product from them, but by your second or third, there's nothing wrong with asking for a discount.
Got it. Okay. So when you're reaching this wholesalers and distributors, how do they take, form of payment? Do they credit cards or, cash, crypto?
It depends. It depends on the distributor. I haven't done crypto yet. That'd be nice. But wire transfers mainly, and some of them accept credit card. And then as you build a relationship with them, you can get net terms like net 30, which is paying them back 30 days after the invoice date, or net 60, which is 60 days after the invoice date. I don't have any accounts like that yet, but I know that one of the distributors that I'm working with does offer that. I just have to request it. So I'm going to be doing that pretty soon.
Yeah, that'll come in handy. It kind of gives you help with your cash flow,
Definitely. And this is an inventory-based business, so you're always spending. And, the goal is to keep the bank account on E, because if you're able to do that, that means more product we buy, the more money we make. So,
was that your mindset in the beginning, or did that shift the more you started, getting into your Amazon business, where the more you spend, the more, you make?
That definitely shifted over the last few months, just because wholesale, like you got to get used to putting out large amounts of capital, whether it be on credit or wire transfer and stuff like that. With OA, I was doing a lot of merchant fulfilled, so I'd get the product and then I'd sell it so quick, and then you send it to the customer. Now your money's back in your account within 2 weeks. So I think like OA is a great way to get OA with merchant fulfilled is a great way to get started if you're limited on capital. Like say you only have 5 or 10K. I think that's a good point to start. Build it up to where you're liquid. If you were to liquidate all your inventory, you're at like 20K, and then start getting into wholesale. But OA is a great I think starting point before wholesale.
Yeah, I completely agree, because you learn the basics of Amazon and you can make cheap mistakes, Like for example, just being able to read a basic Keepa chart and going into different data about it. Because in wholesale, you're kind of going deep. You're not just buying 10 quantity, 20 quantity, you know what I mean? You're making a bigger commitment at that point.
Wholesale is exactly. Another thing with wholesale is you're competing with a lot of guys with 10,000 reviews and stuff. So if you don't got your review count up, they're gonna get buy box a little bit more than you.
Okay.
You can run ads to some of the products. That helps a little bit.
Do you do that yourself?
Dabbled. Yeah, I did it for a couple SKUs, and I did see an increase in sales. But I'm only 4 months in wholesale, so I'm getting into that now.
Okay.
But
in terms of wholesale distributors, I know they have this thing called MAP pricing, basically stands for minimum advertised price. Do a lot of those you find more towards brand direct part, or distributors enforce those as well?
Both. Distributors and brands both enforce it. The distributors will let you know. If they're a good distributor, they'll let you know what brands have those MAP pricing before you even buy, especially if you were upfront with them in the beginning, which you should always be upfront and say, hey, I'm an Amazon seller. I don't agree with telling these distributors that you don't sell on Amazon, or
you have a retail
locally, and that's you want to be upfront, because it will come back to bite you in the long run, especially if they find out. They would just close your account, and then the whole point of this game is longevity. You want to build up something term.
Yeah. No, that's facts, and you bring up a great point there for anyone that's willing to start, because when people think Amazon, they want to start selling Amazon, they think of quick money, right?
Yeah.
But
this
at the end,
term.
Exactly, it's a long-term business, because in the beginning, your first year, your second year, you're still learning. There's so many things you got to learn about Amazon, not just learning how to buy low, sell high, but also taking care of your health account, your refunds and cash flow. There's so much levels to it that you only will know and learn once you're in the game.
Exactly. Yeah, you just got to get started. That's the main thing. If you're having second thoughts or what, I really recommend just get into OA, even retail arbitrage, get some products listed on Amazon, watch them sell, learn the process of what it's like to label items, and then get it to Amazon. And then you can start thinking about how to, outsource some of those activities like prep and, even getting a prep center and stuff like that. But you should learn the process first.
Where are you at in your business now? Do you have a prep center you work with, a warehouse?
I have a warehouse in Oakland Park, Florida.
Okay. And do you have people working for you?
I have one full-time guy, and then I bring in like part-time people just to help if like the load is pretty heavy for the day, or if I know something's coming up where we have to prep a little more than usual.
So you have them come?
Because like I don't get consistent inventory right now, at least where I'm at in my business. Like some of the stuff that I'm buying wholesale, I actually get it shipped direct to Amazon, so it doesn't even come to my warehouse. So some of the spend that I'm doing is like I'm working with distributors who they'll ship it directly to Amazon for me, which is good. But I like to have some work for my guys here too. So I'm working with some local distributors that I get more like small and light products, and I'm in that space as well.
Do you calculate like how fast it ships to Amazon? Like for example, if a distributor is shipping it to Amazon, do you kind of keep track how fast they can ship it out versus if they ship it to you, then you ship it to Amazon? Is that like a consideration for you?
Well, it's also logistically can be an issue because if you're working with a distributor in California and you live in Florida, like I don't want to pay all that extra for freight to get the product when they could just send it direct to Amazon for me and they're okay with it. Like even better.
Oh, I didn't know about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And then not only that, you're double paying for freight because you'd be paying to get it from California to you, and then from you to Amazon.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what are like associated fees, in terms of like if you want to do a purchase with wholesalers and distributors? Is there any hidden fees that people, need to keep an eye out or not familiar with?
Just logistically, like shipping is a big thing. If you're buying bigger products like bulkier, heavier products like crock pots or something, like those are, you're not going to be able to fit as many units on one pallet. So if you do a 15K order, it's like 6 pallets. You got to calculate how much shipping is going to cost. It could really eat into your margin. You don't even think about it because they're going to charge you shipping to where, unless they're local, you might be able to pick it up.
Got it. Okay. Do you have any softwares that you use in terms of, calculating a product before purchasing it?
Yeah, I'm using right now Keepa, obviously. That's going to allow you to see the price history over time and see, buy box statistics. You don't want to buy something that Amazon's been on the listing for the whole year and they're getting like 90% of the buy box. Like, you might want to stay away from stuff like that.
Got it. Okay.
So I use Keepa. That's the main one for calculator. I use RevSeller. It's like $100 for the year, and it gives me, if you plug in your purchase cost, put in the sale cost above for FBA, it'll give you your profit, your take home. I know some other people use
ASINZen.
AMZ Insight, ASINZen.
Yeah. I'm about to switch to them. Yeah. I've been using RevSeller, but I want to give ASINZen a try.
Yeah, I've heard good things about ASINZen. I might give it a try too.
Yeah, because right now my business is still like mostly OA. So, and I'm in, different categories where I look at a lot of variation. So ASINZen gives more insights, information, and, in regards to data and what I can buy, that'll be good.
How's your business? Are you running totally like prep, or are you prepping some of the items yourself? Prep center, my bad.
Yeah,
are you sending everything to prep center?
I have 2 prep center. I'd say 95% of the items I send to the prep center. Some things, if I think it's worth it, I'll have it shipped to me. Like we're both here in Florida, right? Like for example, like some items they don't put tax on them versus like so some of those items I can take advantage of. Sometimes just to get out of the house, I'll do like some retail arbitrage. Dude,
I was just doing some retail arbitrage last month, like during Q4.
Yeah,
I made some good money doing it. Like,
yeah,
it's fun.
You can't just like neglect it. That's the thing about Amazon. You can have a combination of different businesses, wholesale.
Do some OA. I still do a little bit of OA as well. I'm not like 100% wholesale. I probably like 80%, but I still do some OA, and it's a good opportunity to turn your money quick. There's a lot of items that you can buy merchant fulfill and get your money back right away. So I don't sleep on stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. How are you approaching this like wholesale and distributors in terms of like, if you want to open up an account, do you have like a set template? Do you send them an email? Or do you call them on the phone? How do you approach them?
So I just use something called Chat GPT, and I ask like for, no, I'm just playing. You know about
Dude,
that?
you can do some crazy things about that. I was playing with it last night. I swear,
Write
man.
me a template for,
Yeah.
email outreach when trying to get a wholesale account opened up. You can put like, I'm an Amazon seller, and it'll give you a whole, hi, I'm an Amazon seller. It'll give you a whole thing.
It's scary. It's scary.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. But no, I have like a little template that I use for sure. And I just basically include all my information. I usually attach my EIN paperwork, my resale tax exempt paperwork to the email when I initially, so it's like I've done this. It looks like, we've done this before. We do
More
this.
professional.
And they don't even get the opportunity to really ask, can I get that paperwork? It's already there. They look at it. If they're inclined or to open an account with you, if they feel like they need to take on some new clients, which is ideal, they'll just open an account up right there. If you have all that paperwork and your email looks good.
Yeah, it shows a couple things. If I was a wholesale distributor and I get email like that, it shows you like, first, like this guy's prepared, he's ready to do business. Second, he's very professional. He knows what he's talking about. You know what I mean? Do you in your email? Do you use like your a professional email address where your store.com, or you use like a regular Gmail?
Yeah, so my email is like my name. It's David F at mycompaniesname.com. So I'll reach out and I'll say, hi, I'm the owner of my company's name, and we are we purchase wholesale and we sell products online via e-commerce. We'd like to open an account with you guys. Do you have a catalog that we can look through? Also, above, I attach my EIN paperwork and resale certificate if you need those. If there's any other documentation you need, please let us know and we'll get that over to you right away. Regards.
Bam.
And your name, yeah.
And just a numbers scheme from there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Do you have an assistant doing, helping you finding these wholesale distributors, or do you do it yourself pretty much, finding them?
I did have a VA that was working on it. I prefer to do it myself just because I know what I'm looking for, and I'm still in the very early stages of getting the brands that I want to carry, and you're gonna do a little bit better job of doing that in the beginning. I think it's good to do that side of it. And then once you get the catalogs, like scan them a couple times. If they're decent, then you can assign the catalogs to a VA, which is what I do. So I'll give my the accounts that I currently have open and I know that I've put purchase orders in the past. I'll give those catalogs weekly or daily or however much they send me an updated inventory sheet, like these suppliers. I'll forward those to my VA. I'll have it auto forwarded. Whenever email comes through from that person, it forwards to the VA. And, her daily task is just to go through those catalogs, see if she can add any other products that weren't in there from before, or put like products of interest. Like I'll have a sheet, products of interest. Might not be profitable right now, but, if it's selling a lot, and it's something that does like 10,000 sales a month or, whatnot, we can always ask the distributor if they can come down on their price if we buy like a larger order.
No, yeah, I was going to ask in terms of volume, like how does your mindset change? Like, for example, if you were making, a couple bucks, but it sells 10,000, 20,000 a month, how does that your mindset change versus, maybe fewer quantity, but more profit? Do you lean towards that way?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with accepting a lower margin if you're guaranteed to make $2 a unit or something, and it's like a 9% margin. But I know that I can move 1,000 of these units. Like that's $2,000. Why would I pass up on that?
So in terms of wholesale, that is common.
So a lot of people would. Yeah, that's more common in wholesale because you're able to get larger quantities of certain items, whereas like OA, they might limit you to only getting 10. So you're like, well, damn, I want to make at least $5 a unit. I'm only able to get 10 of them or whatnot. But wholesale, if I can get 300 of them and make $2 a unit, that's $600 in my pocket. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, because it adds up. That could only be just for, that one SKU, that one product. Imagine if you have multiple of those,
Exactly. Yep. So my average right now, my average profit per unit is only I think 280 or something. It's nothing crazy, but last month I've sold 4,000 units.
Yeah, so you just multiply that at the end.
Yeah.
In terms of wholesale, right? Is there discounts further available the more you move to the chain or going brand direct? Which one you think will give you more of a lenient way in terms of discounts and stuff like that?
Sorry, can you ask one more time, brother?
Yeah, in terms of discounts, do you find wholesalers will tend to give it to you more, distributors versus a brand themselves?
Yeah, I think you would be better. I think a brand you'll get better discounts because you're getting it straight from the source.
Okay.
But with wholesalers, you'll get a bigger catalog, so you'll be able to purchase multiple brands where you're not one brand can go bad real quick, especially if there's a lot of competition or not even a lot of competition, but somebody that is buying directly from the source. If they can drop the price and still be profitable, and that leaves you that got it from the brand maybe just with a smaller order at a higher price, now you're making really slim margins because somebody else is purchasing $200K worth of that brand a month because they've got bigger distribution. I like to go from distributors because they're purchasing large volumes from certain brands that they can offer you sometimes better pricing than the brand might be able to offer.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Because they've got huge distribution. A lot of these bigger distributors, they're not just selling to Amazon sellers. They're moving product everywhere. So they might have just put in a 200K order with a brand where you would have contacted the brand and put a 10K order in. They're just going to get better pricing a lot of times.
I see. Okay. Are you going to ASD this year?
I want to. I haven't decided yet. Definitely want to get out. It was good in August. I made a lot of connections, and I still purchased from one wholesaler that I met out there. But it was worth it. Just that one wholesaler, I've been able to put in 4 purchase orders since August.
That's amazing.
Monthly, every month.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's good.
You never know what happens till you actually, go out there.
Yep.
Possibilities, meeting different people.
So I definitely want to make it out. I haven't decided, so I'm not going to say yes 100%. But
how would you approach ASD, after going for the first time last year? How would you do it differently? Obviously, more prepared.
Yeah, be more prepared. I was pretty prepared, though, because I did my research before going last time. Even though it was my first time, I had business cards.
That's the key. Yeah, a lot of business cards, dude.
Yeah, dress professionally.
Give it away.
Dress professionally. Just going up and being confident and shaking hands and letting them know you're ready to do business. You want to put in orders with them. Here's my card with my email, and exchange business cards with them. And then don't be slow about reaching out. Definitely, even I was reaching out to the distributors via email when I got back to the hotel, asking them if I could get a catalog. And some of them gave it to me. Some of them said, we are currently at ASD. Please give us a little bit of time. But within the next week or 2 weeks, I got a bunch of catalogs. I purchased from 3 of them, but I'm continuing to do business with just one of them right now.
Yeah, that's so important, especially the amount of people and requests they get. You want to be able to kind of just especially if you had a good conversation with them where you guys clicked, you want to be able for them to remember you. I'm all right, this guy is on top of his, his business, and he's really want to do business with us. So that helps a lot.
And I'm going to be honest though, a lot of times they're not going to remember you. They probably shake, just like you're shaking hundreds of people and meeting hundreds of people. I don't remember any of the faces that I've seen there, and I don't think they do either. It's all, the whole purpose is let me get their card and to get an eye of what kind of products they carry to see if it's something you'd be interested in carrying. A lot of general merchandise like Dove, Old Spice, just general merchandise stuff. That's what you're going to see a lot of there. So if you can like find something that's a little different, they maybe have different products than you're used to seeing, like that might be a good one, a good distributor. And that's what you're going to remember. You're going to remember those brands that they carry, and you're going to want to work with those companies. You can take a picture as you're walking down the aisle, so you remember this is somebody I want to work with, and then just be persistent.
Yeah, that was for me. Like when I had, I wasn't as prepared in terms of like what it's like being an ASD. Obviously, like other things like business cards, dressing professional and stuff like that. That was a given. But in terms of, I wish I should have brought like a notepad or something. But you improvise, right? Like at the back of their business cards, you write something, like a few notes, so that way when you look back, you can remember.
That's a good point. Yeah, I forgot to say that. So on the back of the business cards, I would write like what products they carried. So if it was interesting, I'd know to reach out to them, like specific.
Because so many people you meet and shake hands with, it was crazy.
It was more of an experience for me too, though. I got to meet a lot of Amazon sellers that they're doing like 150K, 200K a month. And that was a lot for me at the time. My biggest month before ASD was like 50K. And then last month I did like 150K in sales.
Let's go.
Yeah.
How important was that to talking to other, Amazon sellers that are doing, I guess bigger numbers to kind of open your mind? Was that like, were you kind of like limited towards where you were at because from your experience, or like after talking to them, you're like, wow, I can do this too?
Yeah, it was super motivating. It always is. Anytime where you're in a group of people or in a group where the other people are at a bigger level than you are, you're going to grow from it. Like if you're around people who are not doing or not where you want to be, it's all who you surround yourself with. So being around those people is definitely motivating, and I want to get in more rooms like that after that.
Okay. Currently, do you have any, business sellers or, people that you surround with, and not just like, I guess, Amazon, but like, for example, if you want to get into like fitness or health, is there, what are some of the people that you surround with right now?
Right now, so yeah, I have a personal trainer. Shout out to my personal trainer. I've been training with him for like a few weeks now, and just being around that, like whatever area of your life you're trying to improve on, being around somebody that's doing better than you is going to help you. So as far as for business, I'm always like communicating back and forth with different Amazon sellers, bouncing ideas. Like you and I talk quite a bit. Some other Amazon sellers, but all that's done online. And then I'm here at the warehouse pretty like all day. So a lot of it's FaceTime, a lot of it's over the phone or Instagram.
Do you have a structure or routine in your day? Like when you go to the warehouse, like, do you know what you're doing, or it just depends on the day? I know it can be hectic sometimes if there's a delivery, right? But like, what is like a day to day in a regular basis, I guess, without like,
so
shit prepping?
Where I'm at in my business, like so I got this warehouse in January of 2022, and I was not ready for a warehouse. I got it because I had the money. Like I had the money because of crypto. So I wasn't too concerned with like breaking even for the first few months, to like grow into the space. But I would say for most people, if you're going to get a warehouse, make sure you're able to support the overhead that comes with it, because there's a lot of overhead. You got to think of having somebody here to be here every day to receive packages, to get product out, paying them for the day, and just the cost of actually whatever the overhead is, whatever the rent is, the internet, all of that. So I had to grow into it. Now I'm at a point where I'm taking money off the table, I'm profiting, and I'm paying my overhead. And I also split the warehouse with one other Amazon seller, who's my cousin.
Okay, nice. So it's not too bad then.
We're chopping it, 50-50, which is good. But you definitely want to make sure you're ready for it before. I jumped in a little early, but I think it was good that I did that because it made me grow quicker.
Yeah, you kind of put yourself, your back against the wall, not purposely, but in terms of that. You kind of had to get yourself into a better position.
Yeah, it worked out.
Was there something you would have done different when you started? I know like a lot of these things.
So when I was saying like make sure you're ready, I would just start with a prep center. Like I think that's the best because you're paying per product to get versus like actually having somebody here teaching them how to prep everything and being basically a warehouse manager. I've got a lot of responsibilities just because I have a warehouse. That if I was using a prep center, it's pretty cut and dry that you just pay per product versus all the stuff that comes with having a warehouse and managing it too.
Is there a set time that you get to your warehouse?
No, it's different every day. Sometimes I'll come in at 12. Sometimes I'll be here at like 9. But I usually try and get like a lot of work done when I'm here. So I'll put purchase orders together, just contacting suppliers, talking to my distributors. I'll do a little bit of OA from time to time. And it's good because my employee who I have prepping the products, like if I'm not here and he runs into an issue, it's kind of hard to solve those issues like what he might be having with 2D workflow or inventory lab, depending on what we're using. Like if he runs into an issue, I'm usually the one that has to solve it. I don't want it to be that way all the time, but that's just how it is right now. Like it's good to be hands-on, get your hands dirty.
Yeah, don't be afraid with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned 2D workflow. Explain, I'm not too familiar with it. Explain, to us exactly how does that help your business and I guess make it better versus a traditional listing.
Okay, so 2D workflow is basically, it allows Amazon to check in your products quicker because when you're sending it through Inventory Lab or any other software where you're labeling the products, you put your SKU on the products and stuff like that. Same thing with 2D workflow. You put the SKU on the products, but once it goes into a box, all those products being assigned to a specific box, you just put a 2D barcode on the box. So when it gets to Amazon, instead of them having to open the box and then scan each product individually, which can take a lot of time, that's why you'll see your shipments pop up where it's like you sent 200 units in and only 80 are showing received so far. That's because they're scanning like each box individually. One product at a time. But 2D workflow, when it gets to Amazon, they're scanning the boxes, and then after they scan every box, all your products pop up at the same time, and they're available for sale.
No kidding.
So it's just like quicker checking times. Yeah. So I'll send 2,000 units, and I'll check, and it'll be like if they're in the middle of scanning the boxes, it might say 1,000 units, but like by the end of the day, it's gonna say like 2,000 units checked in. So it's just checking times are way quicker. And it's good for pallets. Because you can build a pallet a lot easier.
I see. Okay.
Because you do everything kind of like as you're going, so it's like a nice flow to it. So as you're building the box, you're putting the 2D label on the box, putting it on the pallet, and that's done. You weigh it right there. You get the weight of the box, not because you need to assign the weight to each individual box, but let's say you have 20 boxes on a pallet. Each of them weighs 50 pounds, that's 1,000 pounds for the pallet. And you know that at the end of the shipment, you just weigh each box and then add those together. You don't need to assign a weight to one specific box. Whereas like Inventory Lab.
Oh my God, one by one.
One by one, yeah. So you just add it all together, which is great. It's way better.
Can this be applied, you think, to online arbitrage as well? Or someone that's prepping their own thing, arbitrage-wise?
It can if you're for the weight, though, for the pallet thing that I was telling, that's only if you're sending pallets, but you can definitely still apply it using SPD. Like you can put a 2D barcode on a box and put a UPS label on it, and it'll still check in with the 2D. It will check in all at one time using 2D.
That's nice. Yeah. How is the learning curve in terms of the 2D workflow?
It's pretty quick. It's like in the beginning, I had some trouble. I had to email Larry about a couple things back and forth.
Yeah.
But once you get it, you get it. It's not too much harder than Inventory Lab. Probably the same difficulty. Like once you learn Inventory Lab, like how long did it take you to learn how to use Inventory Lab? Not very long, right?
Yeah, a couple
just
shipments.
Like the listing.
Yeah, a couple
Couple
shipments.
shipments. Same thing with 2D workflow. It's basically the same thing. Couple shipments. The second shipment, you should know what to do.
Yeah, a couple of panic or two, like, did I do it correctly? Oh, it's off to Amazon now. We'll see.
Yeah. So
that's
same
pretty
thing
cool.
with 2D workflow. You're not gonna make any big mistakes though, because as long as you put the SKU label on the product and it gets to Amazon, like they'll figure, even if you make a box mistake or something, they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna know it's your product.
That's a game changer. Like once you're in the business, you try to find like little tweaks or, efficiencies, how you can even make it better.
Yes, sir.
So majority of your high quality time is pretty much reaching out to wholesale distributors and opening up accounts.
Yeah, right now I have like 3 distributors that I'm working with, which isn't a lot at all. And I'm pretty much able to spend my monthly budget. Like I'm actually trying to raise more capital right now so I can scale a little better.
Any Amazon loans?
I took out an Amazon loan. It was like $40K. So I have that, but that's almost paid back, and I don't really like, there's nothing wrong with, if you need the capital, it worked for me. It helped me out, helped me spend a little bit more while some money was tied up in inventory waiting for that to sell through. I was able to get more capital and use it for more inventory. But if I had to pick a different, or if I had to pick a loan option, I probably wouldn't go with Amazon lending if you had the option, because it's a 6-month payback period. So if you take out 40 grand over every single month, you got to pay back like 7 grand.
Yeah.
Or like 6,800 or something like that. So it's like, do you really get 40 grand or do you get 32 and then you get 26? So you don't get the 40 and then you pay back all at the end. You get 40 and you got to pay it back monthly and disperse, which is fine. But I want to get a longer term loan, like a 12-month, like 8% if possible. Like it's pretty good. It's hard to get now, especially in this market, but I'm trying to get something like that.
Where are you looking for, options, I guess, with that? Like, are you looking at traditional, credit union banks that are local, or more like, online finance?
So if you have an Amex, like I have an Amex business account, Amex business card, platinum, and, building up history with them. They work with a lender called Cabbage. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Cabbage Lending, yeah.
Cabbage Lending, yeah. So I recently reached out to Cabbage, got on a lending thing open with them. They gave me a line of credit for like $8K, which isn't a lot at all, but
you build it up.
I called them and asked if I could I called them, asked if I can get it increased, and it's over 12 months. So they do 6-month options as well, but this particular line that I got approved for was 12 months. So I called them back and I asked them if we could increase that, and they said it goes based on your bank history, which I didn't understand because I have sent wires over 40 grand that are in and out. So I'm like, for 8 grand, it seems like that's kind of low. But I know some other sellers that got bigger loans from them. It's just a matter of time. Like they said, the guy called me, or I called them, and then he called me back. He's like, you can either pull the 8 grand or you can just wait, and it populates with your banking history. So you put in your login to your bank, and it connects with Cabbage, and they see all the history. What goes on in your bank, the money that comes in, the money that goes out, and then they have an algorithm that gives you a loan based on what kind of business you're doing. So if I'm running a 200K a month business or 150K a month business, there's no reason why like next month it shouldn't be like a bigger line of credit, and then I'll pull it at that time.
So it's important to put in.
There's not a lot of loan options.
Yeah, I mean there are other ones out there, but they're more kind of like loan sharks. The rates are too high, or there's always a catch.
So I mean, there's other options for sure, but I just mean like a loan option where it connects to your bank and it kind of like gives you based on your history, which I think is good. Okay. Because it kind of puts you where you should be. It gives you a loan where what they think you can handle.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's kind of like basically how the Amazon lending works. Is just, again, you'd want a longer term in terms
that
of
was the only
loan.
thing with Amazon. That was the only thing was the longer term. And then, I mean, obviously 12% is kind of steep too. Everybody, they offered about 12%. annually.
But that's for the yearly. But if you're taking 6 months, it's half of that.
It's 6%. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to think six months, 6%, and then they're taking it monthly. You're not really getting that full amount from Amazon because you got to pay it back monthly. But same thing with cabbage. You got to pay it back monthly, but it's like at least it's over a year and it's not monthly. Like they take that first month where it's like $6,800 off of $40K. It's a lot.
Did you have any experience with Marcus credit line, Goldman Sachs?
Yeah, I have a credit line with them, but
I think they're longer. They're 24 months. That's what I did. Yeah, they gave me 24 months.
I do have a credit line with them. It was like $18K, but I didn't pull it yet. It's just been sitting in there. I gotta go look at it.
Yeah, because it expires if you don't do it. So, but if you don't, but the thing about the credit is if you don't use it, it's there for you for 24 months. You know, so worst case scenario,
hey, if you don't have the capital, like regardless, if you got inventory that you can buy and make money on and turn that inventory quick enough to, buy again or spend that 18 again a month and a half later, and you're only paying 6% over 6 months, I think it's a great way to grow your business as long as you're buying profitable inventory.
Did you start with any credit cards in the beginning, like using 0% for some of them? Any promotions like that?
I did, yeah. I mean, it's great when you can make 1.5% or 2% back on your money. I definitely use credit cards. Right now I have the Amex Business, which is 1.5 in points, and then I've got the Capital One Spark, which is 2% back on everything.
Yeah, that's a nice card. I recently just got the Chase Inc., the thing's Business Premier or something like that. It gives 2% as well.
It does?
Yeah.
Is there any like sign up bonus or anything?
I have to double check. I had it since December, but I haven't used it yet. I need to activate it.
Dude, yeah, you got to use it and get the sign up bonus.
Yeah.
Like if you spend $3,000 in your first 90 days, they'll give you.
I'm sure we'll hit it. Like
you'll hit that easily.
Yeah. How crazy was that transition? Like, before you started selling on Amazon, now it's just, you're almost going to become numb to just spending, $50K, $20K, like it's nothing.
Still getting used to it, man. Like it's a constant, cash flow issue because the business operates on product purchase. But so if your bank account's always on E, you've got to have a very good accounting system of what do I have in inventory? What do I have at Amazon in inventory? Like, what do I have at the warehouse in inventory? What do I have at Amazon in inventory? What do I have in my bank? And, once you add all of those things up and then subtract whatever debt you have on credit cards, that's what your business revolving cash, that's where your cash flow is.
Cash flow, yeah.
So you got to have a good idea of that at all times. And as long as that you can do that and see that your money's growing, because Inventory Lab, there's a lot of stuff. I think
it's not accurate.
It's not accurate. There's a lot of things you have to think about with refunds, reconciliation. Like there's a lot of things that don't populate on Inventory Lab, at least not right away. So your cash flow can be off with that kind of stuff.
How do you mostly keep track of this? Do you use just a regular, spreadsheet, or you have to do it one by one each time?
Well, yeah, I mean, I rely on Inventory Lab. I think that's the best. If there's something better out there, I'd love to learn about it and use it. But Inventory Lab gives you definitely a very, very rough but good idea of your profit and loss. I mean, there's not, maybe a couple $100 off or few $100 off, but it's pretty accurate. I mean, you just got to think about the refund, because the refunds, if they hit at the end of the month and you thought you made $4,000 profit or whatever the number is, I'm just saying, like and then the refunds hit for like 1,000, that's a big portion of your net.
Yeah. Have you started like preparing for tax season and accounting and all that stuff yet, or kind of?
Yeah, I definitely. I've got everything set up for my, and I have a CPA that I use since last year. He's gonna get me filed as an S corp for this year going forward, but like this will be my last year paying as a sole proprietor LLC.
How did he explain the S corp to you? Like, what were the pros and cons in terms of, you know, moving from LLC to S corp? Because I don't think a lot of people kind of know about it or talk about it, at least.
Yeah, he explained it to me, but I'm not like too familiar. Honestly, I can't even speak on it because I wouldn't feel right giving the advice. But I don't feel confident enough. I just know that at S corp, if you're making over a certain amount of money, it makes more sense. If you're making like under 60 grand, probably like sole proprietor is better. But if it's over 60, that's how he explained it to me, was if you're making over 60K, it's like you want to go S corp. If you're making under 60K, sole proprietor.
Yeah. Same thing was explained to me. Is basically you're reducing the tax on yourself because, you know, with the S corp, one of the aspects is you pay yourself, right? So whatever that amount you are paying yourself, that's what you get taxed on, and the rest of the difference is, you know, it's in the business. So
exactly, it comes out where it matters the most is what are you paying yourself.
Yeah,
that's where it really can be taken into account, is whether what's better. Yeah.
And I'm not sure if it was explained to you, like, obviously you want to pay yourself as little as possible, but I guess they have guidelines where there's a certain minimum requirement from, you know, the
that you
IRS.
Have to pay yourself.
Yeah, exactly. You can't just be like paying myself like $1, and pay zero tax.
Yeah, bro.
You know, so. But yeah, anything else you want to kind of talk about or kind of browse? We're coming up to an hour here.
Oh, dang, it's been an hour?
Yeah. Goes fast when you're having fun.
Yeah, exactly. So the main thing, I mean, I know you asked early on in the pod was, you know, what's a minimum requirement to get started? I think if you're at the 5 to 10K range, you should be doing RA and OA, you know, at least to get acclimated with how Amazon works. As you start to scale and you start to learn the system and the process of what it's like to send a product to Amazon, then you should, you know, and building up some capital, like when you're at like 20K, is a good number to start thinking about getting into wholesale.
Cool.
But at first, start with RA and OA.
Yeah, this is definitely, again, you can learn cheap lessons in there, build a better cash flow if you don't have one already, and just learn the business in and out right off the bat. How are you tackling this year, 2023, and make it a better year than last year?
Spending more. I just got to get comfortable, like we were talking about, with spending large amounts of capital, because we know how to do product research. We know what sells. We can, you know, almost tell how much of an item we'd be able to sell to the T just from using Keepa and some other softwares. Like I use SellerAmp as well. So just from using those softwares, seeing how many sales are happening monthly and seeing what the buy box rotation is like, you should be able to tell how much you can sell. So spending more money shouldn't be an issue because you know you're making money on the money you're spending. So just getting comfortable spending more money, whether it be credit, a loan, or just free capital that you have.
Any future plans in terms of parking your capital down the road, or everything getting reinvested to Amazon, or maybe other things like, you know, businesses?
For now, just Amazon. I just want to take this business seriously for the next few years, and the goal is to be $1 million a month seller at some point.
Yes, sir.
And all wholesale. Yeah, just run this up.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. Where can everyone find you?
I'll be Ferg FBA on Instagram. I'm gonna start posting a little bit more.
Maybe add it to the 2023. More content, more life.
More content. Definitely, bro. It's just a great way to connect. Like that's the most important thing. Being able to connect with like-minded people, because there's not a lot of us out there. You know.
I know, dude, especially with the business. I mean, like, you know, if you were spending majority of the time, for example, at the warehouse, I'm here indoors kind of just doing some sourcing. It's great to kind of just go out there and, you know, talk to people sometimes.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate you having me on, bro.
No problem, bro. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm down anytime.
All right. Cool.